This video is about the reign of Aegon I. It won't include the Iron Islands invasion, which happened in 2 AC, or the First Dornish War, which occurred between 4 AC and 13 AC. Those two wars are contained in a separate video. By age 27, Aegon had conquered most of Westeros, save Dorne and the Iron Islands, and now had the task of keeping the realm together under his rule. Aegon had picked advisors early, and left much of the day-to-day governing of the realm to them and his sisters. For half the year, Aegon would fly between Dragonstone, the home he loved best, and King's Landing, his royal seat. The other half of the year, he would travel all throughout the realm, attempting to bring its people together. Some he would inspire or induce awe in, and others he would instill fear to keep them in line. Aegon would do this for the rest of his life until 33 AC, when he was 60 years old. During these travels, he would make sure to always pay respects to the High Septon in the Starry Sept in Old Town. Aegon would also stay under the roofs of lords of great houses and even houses of lesser lords, knights, and common innkeepers. And wherever Aegon went, a train of knights, ladies, and lords followed him. Aegon was also sure to bring maesters and septons with him every time he was on any of these progresses. These maesters would inform Aegon of local laws and traditions of the current part of the realm he was in, so he could pass judgment at courts according to the area's customs. And he did this because Aegon felt it was best to respect the different customs of Westeros, instead of unify them under one set of rules. And this actually did help keep peace, though a Targaryen king later on would actually bring the realm under one set of laws. So Aegon made these progresses throughout the realm, and it really helped in cementing Aegon's rule and making it mostly peaceful, save for the Dornish War in 4 AC to 13 AC and his invasion of the Iron Islands in 2 AC. But none of the other lords in the realm really rose up against Aegon or tried to overthrow him. Aegon did a really good job of letting the people know that even though he conquered them, he still cared about them and their customs. Aegon would also see to the creation of King's Landing, envisioning a great royal city to surpass Old Town and Lannisport. He began the construction of the city around Aegon Fort. At first, King's Landing was crude, muddy, smelly. Well, it's still smelly in current Westeros, but it was also booming with activity. First, a makeshift sept was created out of the hulk of a cog on the Black Water, but soon a grander sept was built on Visenya's Hill. Later, a sept of remembrance would be constructed on the Hill of Rhaenys as a memorial to her. Soon, King's Landing saw cogs and galleys from Lannisport, Old Town, the Free Cities, and the Summer Isles as trade shifted from Duskendale and Maidenpool to King's Landing. As King's Landing grew, Aegon, Rhaenys, and Visenya worked hard to knit the realms together. While Aegon made his progresses, Rhaenys had other methods. Rhaenys was very loved by the small folk, and she was a patron of singers and bards, something Visenya thought was a waste of time. Rhaenys' kindness to them helped the creation of many songs that spread throughout the realms, telling of the glorious King Aegon and his sister wives. Rhaenys is also credited for creating the Rule of Six, that is a part of current Westeros common law. The story goes that Rhaenys was sitting on the Iron Throne while Aegon was away on one of his progresses, when a petition was made by the brothers of a woman who had been beaten to death by her husband after being caught cheating. The husband claimed it was his right to chastise an adulterous wife, as long as the rod was no thicker than a thumb. However, the husband had struck the cheating wife 100 times. Rhaenys spoke with maesters and septons and declared that while the gods had made it so women were to be dutiful to their husbands and could be beaten if unfaithful, only 6 blows could ever be struck, 1 for each of the 7 minus the stranger. Rhaenys declared the other 94 blows the husband had inflicted were unlawful and allowed the brothers of the dead woman to match those blows on the husband. Rhaenys also arranged marriages between houses to further bring the realm together and ease tensions between the lords that had been at war with each other for centuries. Rhaenys' death in Dorne in 10 AC during the First Dornish War was felt by much of the realm as they mourned the loss of their beautiful, kind-hearted queen. The death of Rhaenys and the dragon's wrath that followed would bring about one good thing though, the creation of the sworn brotherhood of the Kingsguard. In the anger over their sister's death, Aegon and Visenya placed prices on the heads of Dornish lords. In retaliation, the Dornish men did the same, hiring killers to kill Aegon, his sister Visenya, and the other lords that served the Iron Throne. In 10 AC, Aegon and Visenya were attacked in the streets of King's Landing, and if not for Visenya and Dark Sister, Aegon may have been killed. Aegon, after this, still believed his guards were good enough, until Visenya drew Dark Sister, cut Aegon's cheek before his guards reacted, and told Aegon, "Your guards are slow and lazy." Aegon agreed, and Visenya was put in charge of creating the King's Guard. she decided 7 champions for the Lords of the 7 Kingdoms. They would all be knights and their vows similar to the Night's Watch, so that they would have no duty but to saving and protecting their king. Aegon thought to hold a grand tourney to pick the first Kingsguard, but Visenya disagreed, stating Aegon needed more than skill in arms. He needed unwavering loyalty. Visenya would pick the first men to serve in the King's Guard. 2 would die defending Aegon, and all would serve to the end of their days with honor. After Rhaenys died and Visenya created the King's Guard, King's Landing had grown into a respectable sized city. But King's Landing still didn't have walls, since Aegon felt no one would ever dare attack a city with dragons. Aegon held this belief until 19 AC, when word came that a pirate fleet had sacked Tall Tree's town in the Summer Isles and taken thousands into slavery and a fortune in wealth. Following this event, Aegon commanded walls to be built and put Grand Maester Gawain and the Hand, Sir Osmond Strong, in charge of the project. Aegon instructed them to build the walls with enough room for the city to expand, and that 7 great gatehouses would defend 7 gates, in honor of the 7. By 25 AC, King's Landing surpassed Gulltown and White Harbor and became the realm's 3rd largest city. By 26 AC, the walls around King's Landing were finished being constructed. Aegon Fort also grew at this time and began to encompass more of Aegon's Hill, causing a new wooden keep to be raised with a 50-foot high wall. But Aegon would tear that down in 35 AC to build the Red Keep, a castle worthy of the Targaryens and their heirs. It was claimed that Aegon left the building of the Red Keep to Visenya so that he would not have to be around her at Dragonstone. Already a cold relationship, Aegon and Visenya began to grow more and more distant as time went on, and especially after Rhaenys' death. With the realm at peace and the construction of the Red Keep, Aegon would eventually pass away at Dragonstone from a stroke in 37 AC. He died in his chamber of the Painted Table, telling his grandsons Aegon and Viserys tales of his conquest, when his speech stumbled and he collapsed. Aegon's body was burned in the yard of Dragonstone's citadel, per Valerian and Targaryen custom. His son by Rhaenys, Aenys Targaryen, would inherit the throne and fly from Highgarden to receive his crown. And if you're interested about Aenys and all the other Targaryen kings, you can watch my earlier videos on them. The first Targaryen king videos I made are a bit rough as I was still learning how to use my mic, so they're not the best, but they still contain a lot of information. Other than that, come back this Wednesday for a random Game of Thrones video or Sunday for a new Game of Thrones topic.